School Street runs, well, all the way from, almost all the way from the river. It's School Street up here. It's got a little jog in it. And down here it's Broadway. But you know where well, you probably don't know where the Rite Aid is down in Corey now. But anyway, it goes up over the hill. I was born on Highland Avenue. Our home was, later on, was Ridge. This was Highland. How do you know? I can't even spell Highland. I know it's Highland. Up on here that was 10, 11, 12, 1200 something. And then I was born there. Later on, we moved up to McCabe Avenue. Was up here. This was a big hill, steep hill going up over the. That was McCabe Avenue. And then when I was sixth grade. I was sixth grade in school down here. Sixth grade down here, and I remember I had either chicken pox, mumps, or something. I was out of school.
Worst.
One disease, and I was home, out of school, and I remember going back to school, first grade. I was in first grade down there, and I didn't want to go in. My dad took me back to school in the morning. I'm not going back. I was crying, but I eventually went back to school, and then after that, this is when I was 6. I ended up. We moved down to our 1041 Ridge Avenue. Now this house down here was built by my mother's uncle, I think, some kind of a relative.
Okay.
In 1892.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, he had a grocery store.
Okay.
And eventually my grandfather took over. He died, and I don't know how, but my grandfather took over the grocery store down there on, I think it was on Fifth Avenue. And we ended up in somewhere in the 30s, 30, 34, 35. We moved down to Ridge Avenue. And I lived, my parents lived there until they went to Florida in 70. So I was always down there. But my grandfather had that store. My grandfather and grandmother, little Effie, she's only about that tall. She was little, but she was my pal. Yeah. And
what was the name of the grocery store?
I don't know, Rupert's store, I think, or
Rupert's.
something. Rupert, yeah. I think that was I don't know. There's a picture somewhere. Your dad has a picture of it.
He does?
Yeah, and I think my mother's sister, Aunt Arlene, is a picture, and her brother Edward.
Okay.
Are in that picture, and my grandfather. There's 3. I think there's my grandfather and my Aunt Arlene, and I think Edward's in the front. But he has I think it's a big picture of that.
I'll have to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you keep telling me he's got all this stuff.
Yeah. Who was I telling? Your dad, his memory is like a sieve. You tell him something. 2 minutes later,
What? Was he listening? Maybe he was napping.
No, he was. I don't know. He's a little different than most people, as far as. Well, anyway. So that's Ridge Avenue, and when I was at Ridge, I don't remember any particular, but in probably 1928, 29, 30, my grandfather extended too much credit and went out of business. And they moved up to Custards. Did you ever hear of Custards? Okay, that's below Meadville.
Meadville,
Yeah.
right.
So he went up there in Custards. He was up there, and then he moved around. He went Custards, New Lebanon, Hadley. Hadley was over here. And so he was out. The only thing I remember that I knew they were out of business is that my grandmother said one time, she says, the house, the farmhouse was like this. This is the main house.
At Custards?
Yeah, Custer. Then they had a little place over here. And I don't know whether there was a walkway through. I don't remember whether there was a walkway or not. But my grandmother says, go up in the attic here and get me some Lee and Perrins. Worcestershire sauce in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I first learned of that. He says, get me some of that. So I had to climb up into the attic and find a box. I think it was in a wooden box like that, and bottles, little
Right.
bottles. And I brought that down. I remember that.
So they had a whole stock room up in the attic?
Well, yeah, anything they brought out of the store, I think they could save, like the
Yeah.
herbs and what, probably salt and pepper and
Yeah.
whatnot. That
Pantry stuff.
Yeah, that they could save. And the other thing is, my behind here, you had the house over here, and then you had a little garage over here, they called it. And then down in here you had, I think we had about 3. You had an ice house full of sawdust. Then they'd cut ice out of the streams and store ice in this ice house. And they used wood chips as insulation. So they'd store the ice.
Really?
Yeah, they used to store it in there. And one of these was an ice house, and I don't know what. And in here was a garage, and that was something else. But out here was a barn. So as a kids, we used to go out there, and my grandfather had a car down there, one of those real old cars, wooden wheels, like a canvas top on the top, and whatnot. And we go out there and sit in there and pretend we're driving.
Naturally.
Yeah. So one day, they were, I think my grandfather, my uncle, and my dad were having breakfast in here, and we were done. And we ran out. I don't know, my brother with me ran out and went to the barn, and there was no car in there.
No.
Yeah. So we run back and we said, there's no car, no car. Nobody said a word. It wasn't until about 5 or 10 years later I found out they repossessed it.
No.
Yeah, they took his car.
So they were hiding the car in the barn and
Yeah.
finally found it.
Yeah,
Dang it.
yeah,
Oh. Dang grocery store.
yeah,
It all went bad.
yeah. My grandfather used to buy apple cider.
Yeah.
He used to buy it in kegs.
Whoa.
It wasn't
So it came like straight from the farm.
it wasn't a,
Hey there. Hey.
it wasn't I don't think it was a real big keg.
Maybe like little pony kegs.
Yeah, maybe. It might have been a big one, I don't know. But he would hang a tin cup on it, and anytime you wanted any cider, you go out here and you could have a little drink of cider.
That's
After a
convenient.
while, it got a little high, and they would kind of restrict us.
Yeah. Yeah. What is
Yeah.
that? Fermentation has
Yeah.
occurred.
In fact, I could
No more kitties.
have a little more. There's some in the refrigerator.
Apple cider.
Yeah, just put a